So in the next short video you're about to watch, which is titled Mirror Neurons, we're going to look at something that has been recently discovered, within the last 5 years in our neurological system. Special neurons, which are called mirror neurons, which are restricted to primates, but are particularly robust and widespread in the brains of humans. Mirror neurons, as you're going to read or listen to in the film, you'll become quite acquainted with them, are probably the greatest reason for the success of our species, considering what we are. And this is what we got to consider about it. We are the slowest, we're some of the weakest organisms on this planet. Realistically, knowing this, I don't watch things like the Olympics. I don't watch slow organisms. Now, for example, over 25 years ago, I was going to college, and my brother came home. He ran for Oregon State. He's part of the Ducks, so he was a track runner, and he had to be really fast to run. He was a 100-meter guy, and I was a little jealous because the parents gave him all this attention. But I was in the backyard of our house, and this is Thanksgiving. So I had one of my dogs. I've always had Jack Russell Terriers. My love for them. So I had my little Jack Russell Terrier. And I said, okay, brother, how about you and the dog have a running race? So I took the tennis ball and I hooked it. And, I gave him an even start. And, of course, who won? My little dog just tore him to pieces, right? I mean, my little dog's only 12 inches off the ground. That just shows you how slow humans are. We're pathetically slow. Even in high jump, I mean, we can barely just get 7 feet off the ground. I mean, most, even primates can vertically leap, 10 times their height. And other animals can too. So we are very slow. And even in combat, we're terrible, except against each other. That's the only thing we can do. There was an exhibition kickboxing match that was done in Korea. And what happened was it was supposed to be one of these matches where a human would take on a chimpanzee. But they had a chimpanzee that was trained, and they were going to beat up the little chimpanzee. And it was like a match, but the chimpanzee got sick. So they had a new chimpanzee coming to the zoo in Seoul, so they borrowed it. It's a wild male chimpanzee. So the Korean kickboxer came out with jokingly, he thought he knew the chimp well enough, and he struck him upside the head. The chimpanzee took his arm and went whack and took half his jugular out, flipped him on his back, and was pounding the blood out of him. And if it wasn't for 10 people getting the chimpanzee off, that person would have been dead within 2 minutes. You have zero chance in nature. I want you to think about what it would be like to be on Australopiths, some of the first members of our early hominin gang. Now, you're 3.5 feet tall. You're the type of bipedalism that you practice is habitual bipedalism. Doesn't allow you to run. You're walking about as fast as Danny DeVito. You're 3.5 feet tall, right? Think about what are your odds of surviving in a place like the Serengeti, where our ancestors were, where there are lions that are 300 to 500 pounds, packs of hyenas, and everything out there, I don't care what it is, has a survival strategy, which means speed and agility, and you're the only thing that doesn't have it. How did we make it? Well, part of our story as human body means that we have to have ways in which we depend on each other. Now, for example, let's say you and I were chimpanzees and we were sitting on a branch together. And let's say one of us decided to go to the ground. And the person on the chimpanzee on the ground was attacked by a jaguar. I might be very distressed about you being on the ground, but I'm not going to run down to the ground and help you. That's out of my conception because it's all about me, right? It's all about me. It's kind of like being a Republican. Right? It's all about me. So what happens is that chimpanzees don't defend each other to that degree. That degree of empathy isn't within their neurological hardware. There's a protection mechanism that prevents them. They're very upset about what might happen, but they are not going to sacrifice their lives. Think about humans and what we do. And if you watch, tapes of disasters that happen, or you look at the things that happened in 9/11, all those firemen rushing into the building, and they realized that the building could collapse on themselves. I don't think they went in there for their $80,000 a year. They went in there because there's something in them that could deeply connect the people that were in the building, something on the neurological level. So I want you to think about, these Australopiths. What would they have had to do in order to protect each other? In order, if one person was attacked, how would they group together? And remember, this isn't about just decision making. This is also about something that's compelling you to be there. So I want you to watch that video, Mirror Neurons, and see what you think was beginning to develop in our early ancestors, and that has continued to increase now to give us something that we call humanity.